Problem number 15. 2/9 plus a negative 4/9. In order to add and subtract fractions, we've got a common denominator. This has common denominator, so we're in luck on that. It helps to write it over one denominator, so put everything else on top. This would be 2 plus a negative 4. Or, if you don't like having the double signs, which I don't tend to like, a positive and a negative, when they're right next to each other, that would be the same thing as just 2 minus 4 over 9. They're different signs, so you subtract. You would say 2 from 4 is 2. The larger amount is the negative, so it is a negative 2/9. Here you're just saying 2 and a negative 4, and again you would say it is a negative 2/9. Nothing to reduce, so that is your answer. Number 16, dividing fractions. You don't really divide fractions. You multiply by the reciprocal. Or, as you guys tend to say, you keep, you change it, or dot, and then flip. The reciprocal of 1/2 is 2 over 1. Now that it's switched to multiplying, you can do the reducing before you multiply. Look for one number in the numerator, one number in the denominators that can be divided by the same number. 2 and 8 can both be divided by 2. So divide by 2, the 2 becomes a 1. 8 divided by 2 becomes a 4. The only rule we have for multiplying is to multiply numerators times numerators, and denominators times denominators. So 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 1 is 4. You could change that back into a mixed number. You would say that it is 1. 4 goes into 5 one whole time. You'd have one piece left over. 1 1/4. Look back at the problem. It was a positive divided by a positive. Our answer should come out positive, so it makes sense that our answers are positive. Number 17. Again, adding and subtracting fractions, we need common denominators. You need to make those the same size pieces. This one takes 8 pieces to make a whole thing. This one takes only 3 pieces to make a whole thing. That's what you're talking about when you get a common denominator. So to get a common denominator for 3 and 8, the smallest number they both multiply up to is going to be 24. So you're going to multiply the 8 times 3. Do the same to the top. So 3 times 3 is 9. I'm going to put the minus sign up with the numerator. 9 24ths. The 1/3 you'd multiply by 8. So multiply the top by 8. It becomes 8 24ths. You get the minus sign is in between. I think it's really good if you put it all over one denominator. So then you have negative 9 minus 8 over 24. These numbers have the same signs. This is a negative 9. This is a negative 8. That minus sign belongs to the 8. Or if you wanted to, you could write it as negative 9. Remember, you can put a plus sign in between here and say it's plus a negative 8 all over 24. Either way, these are the same signs, so you're going to add them and keep the sign. 9 and 8 is 17. Keep the sign, negative 17 24ths. That is the same answer you would get here, negative 17 24ths. Okay, and that is your answer. Number 18. Again, adding and subtracting fractions, we need a common denominator. 9 and 6, common denominator again is going to be 18. You're going to have to multiply 6 times 3. You're going to have to multiply the 9 times 2. Do the same whatever you did to the denominator, you have to do the same thing to the numerator. Multiply it by 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. I'm going to keep the minus sign up top. And 2 times 9 is 18. So that is 8/18 plus times 3. You'd have to multiply the 1 times 3. So the denominator will become 18. 3 times 1 is 3. Put it over one denominator. Then look at it and think about your integer rules. So this is -8 plus 3. That's a negative number being combined with a positive number. They're different signs, so you'll subtract. Take 3 from 8, you get 5. Take the sign of what you had more of. You had more negative, it's going to be a -5. And your denominator is 18ths. So -5/18 is your answer. Number 19, multiplying a fraction times a decimal. I would urge you to change this fraction, or this decimal, into a fraction. I'd hope you would know what that is, but if you didn't, you'd come off to the side and say, okay, 25/100ths, and then reduce. I'm going to speed it up. I recognize they both can be divided by 25. Divide by 25, I get 1/4. So this is 4/3 times, I'm going to put the negative up high, so -1/4. Again, when it's multiplying, you can reduce before you multiply. 4 and 4 are both divisible by 4. One's in the numerator, one's in the denominator. So divide them both by 4. This becomes a 1. This 4 becomes a 1. Now you have 1 times -1 gives me -1. 3 times 1 is 3. So the answer is -1/3. Number 20. -7/9 times 15/28. It's already multiplying. I'm going to put the negative up with the 7 times 15/28. Reduce before you multiply. It has to be one number above with one number below. 9 and 15 are both divisible by 3. Divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 7 and 28 can both be divided by 7. 28 is 4 times 7. So when you divide 7 by 7, you will get a 1. And again, I'm going to keep the minus sign with it. And 28 divided by 7 is 4. Multiply numerator times numerator. -1 times 5 is -5. They're different signs when you multiply. Your answer comes out negative. 3 times 4 is 12. That is your answer, -5/12.